This is the Ohio AgNet from the Voice You Know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Veltima Fungicide. The proven #1 for the toughest corn diseases with long-lasting residual, when you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Ty Higgins. Don't miss Dye Real Estate and Land Company's July consignment auction coming up on the 14th at the Putnam County Fairgrounds. To learn more, go to dyerealestate.com or call 419-721-3497. A wheat yield monitor in the triple digits, better chances of rain, and how much will that July 4th cookout cost you this year? This morning's news feed is delivered by Ebert's Field Seeds, proven local seed performance for Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Ebert's. Call 937-473-2521 or visit online at ebertsseeds.com. The first wheat harvest cab cam of 2026 is online now at ohioagnet.com as I hop in the cab with Union County's Justin Gravatt to talk about if that frost Mother Nature gave us late in the season took a bit off his wheat yields.
I think we've been hurt by a little bit of frost, but yield overall is about where I was hoping it would be. I keep saying maybe average. Most people think I'm a little higher than average, but
your average is different, though. You've only been doing this for a couple years.
Yes. So the first year I had wheat was in 23, and it went 105 dry. So I figured that was average. No, I guess it's not average.
Yeah, you're a little sliding scale there.
Yeah.
As you and I talk, we just found out from USDA this will be the smallest amount of acres planted to wheat and smallest wheat crop in a long time. Markets are responding positively. Have you already got this sold, and how did that marketing look for this year's crop?
So I got most of this sold, probably 75-80% of it. Luckily, we got in when it was above $6 a few weeks ago. So everything's above $6, what we have sold.
So you're getting a decent price on the wheat.
Yes.
And of course, you might see behind the combine here, it's rode up and ready to bale, and you'll be selling that as well.
Yep. We got all the straw sold, and about half of this field will go for double crop beans.
How are the crops outside of wheat looking? I know that it's been a very trying start to the growing season. Have you gotten the range you needed? What does this heat mean for the younger crop? How are things looking so far here in this part of the state?
Overall, the crops don't look too bad. April beans look really good. There's a little bit hurt by water, but most of it, I would say, is good. The corn, it's going to be average. I'm not happy with how it looks. It hasn't looked good since we planted it. But hopefully prices will come back up and we'll end up getting good price, having a decent yield.
Justin Gravatt here in Union County for our first wheat harvest cab cam of 2026. Appreciate your time, and this, quite honestly, the smell of straw and just getting out here, and I know it's hot, but this time of year, really exciting and one of my favorite things to do, and I appreciate you allowing me to hop in with you.
Well, thanks for coming.
Again, you can watch that video online now at ohioagnet.com. Let's get a check of the forecast now, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company. Here's Ryan Martin.
We are on the cusp of an air mass change, but it's not going to be here right away. I think we still see decent sunshine through a large part of your Friday. Clouds increasing in northwestern and western parts of the state this afternoon, and scattered showers and thunderstorms break out over the western half of the state at least through the overnight into tomorrow. But that still leaves enough room for temperatures to be quite uncomfortable today. Dew points elevated, so be aware of that. On again, off again, showers and thunderstorms through the rest of the holiday weekend, both Saturday and Sunday combined. Today through Sunday, I think we're looking at 1/4 to 1 1/4 inches, 100% coverage across the state. We follow that up with lesser chances Monday, Tuesday, dry Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Next chance of moisture coming overnight next Friday night into Saturday the 11th. Warm and humid throughout. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. How much will that 4th of July cookout set you back? Joe Everett has that story.
As you prepare to celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary this 4th of July, you can also expect to pay a little more at the grocery store. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation's annual summer cookout survey, a classic Independence Day meal for 10 people will cost an average of $73.82 or about $7.38 per person. That's up about 4% from last year. Higher prices for ground beef, chicken, pork chops, strawberries, and even hamburger buns helped push costs higher, while lower egg and potato prices brought down the cost of potato salad and chips. Farm Bureau says the increase is right in line with overall inflation, and it's important to remember farmers receive less than 6 cents of every food dollar after expenses. Most of what consumers pay goes towards processing, transportation, packaging, and retail. As families gather around the grill this Independence Day, it's another reminder of the important role American farmers and ranchers play in putting food on the table. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joe Everett reporting.
Thank you, Joe. Whether you're putting hot dogs or steaks on that grill, make it a safe and enjoyable July 4th weekend. Online at ohioagnet.com, summer weather is taking center stage for the markets. When do fungicides pay in corn? And the latest Field Leader podcast is up as well, all online at ohioagnet.com. A barn that was so well suited for the 250th celebration of America, right here in Ohio. You'll find out more about it coming up in today's featured audio after this, here on the Ohio AgNet.
Be aware, ticks are there. As you head outdoors, remember to avoid tall grass, wear light-colored full-coverage clothing, and use EPA-registered repellent. Be sure to thoroughly check for ticks after you head in for the day. If you find any ticks, remove them carefully with tweezers and watch for symptoms such as fever, headache, or rash. For more information on ticks and tick bite prevention, head over to ohio.gov/ticks.
If agriculture is your way of life, you need news you can count on. That's why Ohio farmers turn to Ohio's Country Journal, your source for the latest in crop updates, livestock insights, market trends, and the stories that celebrate country life across our state. Every issue keeps you informed, connected, and ready for what's next in Ohio agriculture. So don't miss a beat. Renew your subscription or sign up today at ocj.com/renew and grow with the publication built for Ohio farm families. That's ocj.com/renew.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. Of course, this weekend, America celebrates its 250th birthday. One of the ways we're celebrating is with murals throughout the U.S., including right here in Ohio, commemorating the 250th anniversary of America's birth. For those who enjoy art and local history, those might be right up your alley. One of the barns belongs to Joe Rice of Rice Farms in Worcester. The location's especially fitting as the Rice family farm sits right along U.S. Route 250. Rice represents the 7th generation on the family farm, making his story a fitting reminder of the generations of Americans who have built, preserved, and passed down the land.
My name is Joe Rice. I'm the 7th generation farmer here at the Rice Farms. My wife Kelly and I raised 3 daughters here, which also live on the farm, and our 6 grandchildren, which would make them the 9th generation. I primarily grow corn, soybeans, wheat, and hay, and cover crop all my beans and wheat ground in the fall. The barn behind me was built in the early 1800s. This farm was deeded by President James Monroe to the Rices in 1818. As far as we know, the barn was built shortly thereafter. This barn almost always has had animals in it. At one time, there was 2 different sets of dairy herds. My grandfather and my dad both milked, but they each had a separate herd in a separate part of the barn. Beef cattle then, and we had hogs, and there's just the barn's always been used, and it continues to be used now. Todd Kleismith, the executive director of the Ohio 250 Commission, stopped in because this barn was on State Route 250, which he felt was significant for the US 250 anniversary. The barn painting began in June of 2023. It lasted for 5 days. And on day 4, there was a media day where media came in, friends and relatives stopped, and it was just a good event. It's almost daily someone will stop and take pictures, photographs, set up cameras. We've had a lot of visitors over the last 3 years of this. The farming history here and family has been very important to me to keep this rice name going. And as the 7th generation, I'm just very honored that we were able to have this mural put on our barn and just continue the legacy here.
The barn was painted by the barn artist, also known as Scott Hagan. Scott was also the artist who painted the Ohio bicentennial barns back in 2002. He's created many patriotic and agriculturally focused paintings across the state. As America celebrates 250 years, it's time to reflect where we've been and where we're going. The art, historical spots, celebrations across Ohio tell stories of our past, but the people who continue to work the land and strengthen their communities are helping to write our country's future. You can read more about the barn and see it for yourself online now at ohioagnet.com. In other farm news, USDA announced a new initiative earlier this week that'll provide up to $500 million to help small and mid-sized beef processors remain competitive as historically tight cattle supplies continue to pressure the industry. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said the new Strengthening Process for U.S. Ranchers, or SPUR program, will offer temporary payments to eligible U.S.-owned processors to help offset rising cattle acquisition costs while encouraging continued slaughter capacity. The nation's 4 largest beef processors not eligible for the program. USDA officials said the initiative's intended to preserve independent processing capacity, improve market opportunities for cattle producers, and strengthen competition throughout the beef supply chain. Industry groups welcomed the announcement, saying smaller processors have faced mounting financial pressure as cattle prices reached record highs and supplies remain constrained. The department said eligible facilities will receive payments based on qualifying processing activity, and program requirements will be announced in the coming weeks. We'll get a check of the markets and analysis coming up next here on the Ohio AgNet.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
The way farmers get their information is expanding, and now there's a new dimension of farm news for the Buckeye State. Ohio AgNet TV. Learn from other farmers, see products and practices in action, and stay connected to what is happening both locally and nationally. Plus, watch expanded video coverage throughout the growing season and beyond with regular updates from the field and stories that highlight the people, issues, and innovations driving Ohio agriculture. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe now on YouTube by searching Ohio AgNet TV, where Ohio agriculture comes to life.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins, and this morning's market analysis is brought to you by Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the Thursday session mixed. At the end of the trading day, we were lower in Chicago wheat fractionally, up about 2 to 4 in Kansas City wheat, a penny or two lower in Minneapolis. We were mixed with nearby beans a little higher, deferred new crop beans down. Same thing on corn, nearby slightly higher, deferreds slightly lower. It was a day that started strong. The U.S. weekly export sales report was, quote, okay. Probably the biggest news was not within agriculture. The U.S. jobs report was called disappointing overall. World grain supplies declined this week's key USDA Stats Canada reports with worsening drought across Europe. That's a bullish long-term, or at least a not bearish long-term scenario. But I think most of what happened on Thursday was risk coming off the table ahead of the long holiday weekend where we celebrate 250 years as a nation. Happy birthday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. After yesterday's close, corn for July 4 cents higher at $4.25 a bushel. September $4.23, up a quarter penny, but December corn down 3/4 at $4.44 1/2. July beans $11.31 3/4, up 5 1/2. November down a penny and a half at $11.47 3/4, and wheat for July $5.90 1/2, down a penny and a half. Live cattle for August down $2.60 yesterday at $239.22. Feeder cattle for September $358.47 down $3.70, and July lean hogs a $0.50 higher at $93.85. This is the Ohio AgNet.